get that experience, then volunteering is generally the way to go, and it's generally the way a lot of people go. And you pick up some really valuable information when you're volunteering as well, and you know what you're getting yourself in for when you actually do start working, because it changes the dynamic of the relationship between you and the organization changes. So you need to make sure that you're happy with how the organization treats other staff members and stuff like that. So always be on the lookout for signs of things like that. So another really, really important someone came in and left. Yep. Someone came in and left. Fair enough. No, maybe they're here. Oh no, here we go. Hoo. That's Eleanor. Put my headphones on. You should be able to talk, and people should be able to hear you. Maybe not. So there's a really important thing that you've got to remember, and that's your resume and your cover letter. Because if you're not volunteering for that organization, or that organization hasn't dealt with you in the past, then you're another person on a piece of paper that they have to read. So you have to make sure that you do all the basics first. So you get rid of all the spelling mistakes, you get rid of all the grammar mistakes, and you put all the information that's really important to the role first. Okay, so you don't put up that you were school captain in grade 6 at Warren Bingy Primary School as your first sort of call a reference to say, you know, this is the type of person that I am. You do it in reverse. So you do all the important things. You know, I volunteered here, and I've been to this conference, and you know, I went and studied this at this organization. All the things that are relevant to the organization, and then you can start putting in the things that aren't so relevant but are good to know things. So for me, a really good thing to know is that I'm a qualified chef, and whenever I go for a job and they read that, they're like, oh, that's cool, you know, you can teach some of the clients how to cook properly. So there's that added advantage of me going through it, but not adding that first. It's not a priority over the fact that I've studied, I've got work experience, you know, I'm doing this project here, the Peer Workers Network project, and I'm working on that day and night non-stop. And these are the things that organizations love to read. So that's the resume and cover letter. You know, you really got to put and present yourself. I'd even say get a resume writer. I mean, they're not expensive. Some are, some aren't. Depends on how much, you know, information you've got. But these are the things that employers look for. Now, say you sent your letter, sent your resume, and you sent all that in, and they're like, well, we're going to bring you in for an interview, and then we're going to go through, a few questions here, there, and everywhere, and check out your knowledge of things. My advice, my biggest bit of advice to anybody who goes for a job interview as a peer worker is to read the website. Read their website from home to contacts, everything, and especially if they have a peer worker page there. Read that 10 times, get that sunk into your head on their peer worker program, because I have no doubt that in that interview you're going to get a question: have you or do you know anything about our organization? I have no doubt that that's what's going to happen. Maybe not at a hospital, because who as a peer worker wants to read about oncology or anything of that nature. So they're a little bit different. But if you're going for a peer worker role at, say, at Park or at Mind or Each or any of those organizations, then you're going to be asked that question: what do you know about our organization? And if you sit there and go, oh, I know it's a mental health one, and you help people with mental illness, that's about it, then you're not going to go very far, because you didn't actually take those steps to say, hey, look, this is what I know about your organization. So it's not only knowing about the organization, it's also knowing a little bit about things like confidentiality. They're probably going to throw a curveball at you, like client so-and-so, was having a really hard time, and they were showing signs of distress. What should you do? And depending on the role that you're going for, it might be, the answer might be, I sit down, I talk and find out what the problem is, and then pass it on to the relevant person. Sometimes it could be like, I just go on straight and go get a clinician. No ifs, buts, or maybes about it. I go and get a clinician. So these are the questions you got to be prepared for. Now, not all organizations are going to ask all the same questions. So you're going to get things like confidentiality. You might get a question about mindfulness. All the things that peer workers deal with, are up for question. Now, for me, being in an interview, it's not a super serious process for me. So I don't sit there grumpy face, or like a ghost has just walked past and I'm pale. I smile and I joke a little bit. You know what I mean? These are the things, these are the type of things that you have to bring to the party, because if you come to an interview and you can't relate with the people who are interviewing you, you can't warm up to them in the space of, say, half an hour, then how are you to warm up to someone who you're supposed to be looking after? So you need to warm